Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, most of you no doubt will be aware already that the elections scheduled for today, the Nigerian presidential elections and the senatorial elections scheduled for today, has been postponed. So we had the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, come on national television yesterday to announce that the elections has been postponed.
Following a careful review of the implementation of its logistics and operational plan and the determination to conduct free, fair and credible elections, the Commission came to the conclusion that proceeding with the election as scheduled is no longer feasible. Consequently, the Commission has decided to reschedule the Presidential and National Assembly elections to Saturday, 23rd February 2019.
The reasons that he cited were logistics. So he said logistics and operational planning. So now the elections which were scheduled for today was then cancelled yesterday on the 15th because in the course of a meeting, apparently this is what Mahmoud Yakubu described. In the course of a meeting, they found logistics and operational matters a bit wanting, to the point that they felt the need to reschedule the elections. So now this is what's being said. But why? Okay, so in the build-up to these elections, every time and any time that the INEC body was interviewed, they're always telling us how ready they are for the elections. Up till a week ago, they still presented themselves in front of all of the media houses to say how ready they were for the elections. So now, why is it now the case that they are no longer ready for the elections, or what gremlins would they have discovered in the works on the eve of the elections that would have necessitated them having to cancel the elections? Why was the state of preparedness only reviewed on the eve of the elections? Why was there no ongoing review of their process? And if there had been ongoing reviews of their processes, why then were all these issues not identified and ironed out? So these are some of the questions that we have to ask. I mean, if due processes were followed properly, there cannot be concerns so egregious that would necessitate the postponement of the elections. Absolutely not. So what are we talking about here? What we are really talking about is rigging. This is really what we are talking about. If we were to speculate, then it will appear as though they had already written the results to announce for Buhari. So the results for Buhari's victory had already been written. However, based on the visuals from the campaigning, especially we all saw what treatment Buhari got in Yoruba land, where they were chanting Ole Ole and his campaign was being stoned. You know, so we all saw that, and we all saw the sort of reception that Kwakwanto and Atiku got in Kano. So now we've all seen, and in Katsina as well, and in Sokoto too, we all saw the receptions that that Atiku got in all these places. So now, with all of these things that we have seen visually, the results that they had written prior is no longer tenable, because it's no longer believable, because you cannot say off the back of the response that we saw to the Atiku campaign in Kano and in some key parts of the Northwest, and the sort of reception that we saw to Buhari in Yoruba land, you cannot then off the back of that visuals, of that campaign visuals, then confer the sort of results that they had written for Buhari to announce him as elected. So now they have to go revise these figures, and this really is the reason, from my point of view, that INEC has had to reschedule the elections. Because of course a lot of you will remember that the INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu was caught wearing an APC party cap in one of these conferences. So he was caught. A body that is meant to be independent and to arbitrate an election where several parties are contesting is wearing the party hat of one of the parties involved. And I will put a picture of when he was caught wearing the APC party hat. I will put a picture of that on this video just so you can see for yourself. So clearly there's no independence there. And now what will happen now is there's obviously going to be voter apathy, because the people who were geared up to go vote today are not going to gear themselves up to go vote in a week's time. That's even if they allow the elections to hold in a week's time. So there might well even be violence on the street, because there will be people who are not actually aware that the elections has been postponed, and they will still set off to go vote, and this might well lead to some raucous behavior. So really, but the central point really is the rigging that they thought they had perfected has been truncated by the response of the Nigerian public to both their campaign, where they were stoned and booed and called Ole, and the Atiku campaign, where the response was cheering and full of encouragement. So those two visuals has now truncated the results that they had written prior for these elections. So now they have to go then revisit those figures, and it is this really that has necessitated the need to postpone the elections. And meanwhile, bear in mind, all the electoral observers that would have come from abroad would have been in Nigeria waiting to carry out their duties today, only to be met with this news. And a lot of them obviously will be booking their flights as we speak. They are probably on their way to the airport as I'm recording this this video, never to come back, because they have to go do something else somewhere else, because these are not people that are waiting around for Nigeria. And you recall that Rufai said he doesn't want electoral or independent observers at the elections anyway. You remember Rufai said they were going to live in body bags, so they don't really want independent official observers at the elections anyway. So really, all of the apparatus of rigging are in place. So the script is now being played out. So let's now see how this pans out. We have a week to go again. The numbers of voters that would have voted today will be diminished by at least a good 20%, because people who have had to schedule their lives around this election would not then be able to reschedule it again for another week. So people who've had to travel to vote, to go to wherever it is that they are eligible to vote, to go vote, would not then be able to do that again in another week's time. So a lot of permutations would necessitate that there will be a significant drop in the number of votes that would have been casted today, as opposed to the numbers of votes that would have been casted that will be casted in a week's time. So now this is really what is at play. So the rigging is now in full swing. Of course, we had the Chief Justice already suspended, and an apologist, a yes man, put in his place. So now we have the INEC man wearing the party cap, and is now postponing elections so that they can rejig the written figures that they've already written. So now this is the play. So how this pans out though is something that would unfold in the next few weeks. So we wait with bated breath, and as we wait, we carry on the conversation in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, meet you there, and I'll say peace.
Missing someone